Ladies and gentlemen, let's Red Gaming Totocom video. We're going to be taking a look at the Steam Summer Sale deals. It is the 12th of July. Of course, yesterday's deals are still in force. Today's deals, at least in my opinion, on a whole, are slightly better than yesterday's. Not to say that yesterday's were abysmal or anything. There were certainly a couple of reasonable ones in there. However, I personally think that more of today's are at least acceptable. So, today's deals are pretty damn good. The first one we're going to be talking about would be The Walking Dead. Unfortunately, the actual DLC is not inclusive in this deal, and it doesn't seem to be off either way, so it's only $4, but regardless, it's not on sale. However, the main title itself is on sale, and so it's 75% off, or $5.24. I really cannot stress to you guys how awesome this game is enough. I've actually got some videos of it on RGT, so I'd recommend you check them out if you want more details. It is absolutely phenomenal piece of storytelling, actually. I have a couple of minor issues with it, in that you can't actually change the way some aspects of the games go. I can't really spoil it because of, well, spoilers, obviously. But overall, I would say this is an incredibly good piece of storytelling, and in my personal opinion anyway, one of those titles that you really must play, whether it be on console or PC. In this case, it's an absolute steal of a bargain, and so if you've not already picked it up, please do so. Next one, Fez. I've not covered this one personally, however, Marta on this channel has, so she's got a video. However, she has told me that it's a pretty awesome game, actually, and it's one of those titles that basically screws with perspective. As I said, she has got a video on this on the channel. Also, apparently, the soundtrack is also supposedly really good. It also scores extremely well in Metacritic. As I said, personally haven't played it, however, Marta has, and she assures me it is pretty damn good. FTL, also known as Faster Than Light. This is one of those games that I was actually really not looking forward to playing when I was going to cover it on RGT. And color me surprised, because it's actually really good. I'd actually really recommend this one for anyone either into adventure games, indie games, or into space as a whole. It is incredibly good. Don't let the fairly basic graphics fool you. There is a hell of a lot of strategy in this title. More to the point as well, it is one of those games that you're probably going to do really bad at until you actually figure out the strategy in it. I would actually recommend that you check out my video on this one, because it probably is either going to be one of those titles you absolutely love or not so much. Personally, I would really recommend it. It's 75% off. That brings it to the princely sum of $174. Next title, Just Cause 2. 80% off. That brings it to £2. And once again, I'm just going to use British prices just as the common denominator. Just Cause 2 is a fairly OTT game. It doesn't take itself seriously, and it has its plot out of an action B-movie. So it is one of those games where you can pretty much use a grappling hook to survive massive falls from. And I don't mean by shooting up in the air and, say, catching a crane overhead or something similar. Oh no, we're talking about actually aiming at the catapult, or sorry, the grappling hook on the ground and pulling yourself down even faster. For some reason, the faster approach saves yourself from the impending doom of terminal velocity. Regardless, it is a ridiculously cool game. As I said, I have covered this on RGT. I would recommend this to anyone who is just into pure mayhem. It is absolutely insane. You can quite literally pilot a Harrier jump jet. You can parachute around the island. You can just ridiculously blow everything to complete Kingdom Come. It is a very good title just to sheerly piss around in. It is a sandbox extraordinaire. Also, despite the fact it's a couple of years old now, I will give it to the game. It looks pretty damn nice. Next title, Chivalry, Medieval Warfare. I can honestly say that I don't know this game that well. It scores fairly well on Metacritic, and obviously it is one of those actiony kind of titles. I can honestly say this is the only title on the entire selection that I've not played, so or at least know something about, so I'd recommend you check it out further if you're interested in that particular title. As I said, guys, I cannot play every game. It is pretty much impossible. I can tell you, as I said, that 75% off, $4.74. If you're interested in these type of games, you could certainly do worse than this title. Next one, Anno 2070. I've actually heard a few things negative about this game's digital rights management. It actually contains a free machine activation limit, which means that, and I quote from Wikipedia, when changing hardware you can use one activation. Doing so 2 times would render the game completely useless. However, consumers can contact Ubisoft at phone number to request additional activations. Interestingly enough, this game was one of those titles that actually caused them to start backing off DRM. Anyway, this was released in late November of 2011. And it actually scores fairly well on both Metacritic and reviews. I would recommend this game for those of you who are into city building. Personally, I've never really been hugely into it. Well, I actually lie, I used to be quite into it, but recently, kind of gotten out of it a little bit. I will say that for the price, it is more than worth it. There is also a lot of DLC available on this one as well, all sharing the same 75% off as I can see. He says, checking, just make sure. Yep. So, if you're into city building, it could well be worth checking out. Otherwise, well, you may want to give it a miss. As I was saying, there you go. So what other titles are there other than Darksiders 2? Darksiders 2 is a very good game, at least in my opinion, and has been patched a couple of times on PC. As an aside, you can check out the full first impressions on RGT, and you can also check out what the subsequent patches have done in terms of graphical fidelity and quality. It has definitely improved it somewhat. I have actually done a video on that as well, just to clarify. It is, of course, a sequel to Darksiders 1, and that's also on sale here as well. Nevertheless, this is one of those titles, in my personal opinion, that is definitely worth picking up if you're interested in titles like, say, Devil May Cry or whatever. It has a couple of issues regarding the PC version. Primarily that I wish the resolutions of certain textures was a little bit higher. This is 80% off, which brings it to $6.99. It's not a terrible price, but on the other hand, I've seen it cheaper as well. I believe I've seen it for about $5. Bear in mind that you are going to miss out on all the DLC for this. It is, however, available 81% off to 80% off, so 80 to 81%. I have no idea why there's a certain disparity there of a couple of percent, but regardless. As far as I understand it, the DLC does somewhat extend, and you can actually do... I'm sorry, you can get the season pass as well if you prefer. I would recommend this title for fans of Devil May Cry or just for action-orientated folks in general. As I said, I have covered it extensively on the channel, so go ahead and check it out. Sniper 2, Ghost Warrior. I actually really like this game. I have covered it on RGT. It has some issues, in honesty. It is kind of standard in terms of storytelling affair. It's 85% off, which brings it to $3.74. If you're interested in the role of being a sniper, if you're interested in the military and those type of things, then you could go ahead and check it out. I personally don't believe it's anything unique. I don't think it's anything particularly exciting. It has a couple of gameplay issues. As I said, check out my first impressions review. If you want more information, it shows all the gameplay of the game, so it's going to be a heck of a lot easier than explaining it to you guys. Next title, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It's 50% off, so that's £20. That makes it the most expensive title here. Regardless, it's a fairly good price. Worth noting that this game, of course, is ridiculously popular. Regardless, no DLC, as far as I can tell anyway, is on sale. No, none of it is. This includes Uprising, Revolution, and so forth. It's not a terrible price, I suppose. This is one of those games that you're either going to love COD or you hate COD. I actually quite like the game personally, despite the fact that I am abysmal at it. I am atrocious at it, and I willingly admit that as well. I have covered the single player aspect. I can't remember if I covered the multiplayer aspect of COD anyway. I might have just covered it briefly to show you guys what the options are and stuff. I honestly don't remember. But you can check that out anyway. I'm sure COD doesn't really require an introduction at this particular point. There is also... what else is there? Because I'm sure there was something else as well. Yes. Surgeon Simulator 2013. It's available 66% off. That brings it to $237. This is one of those titles that you can't really play seriously. A lot of people are using Let's Plays of this game because of how hilarious it can be. Honestly, it is not even slightly interested me. Metacritic, as well as a couple of other websites, score it fairly reasonable in the 70s range. I've no interest in it personally. I can honestly say that I've not tried it, haven't played it, and I don't want to play it. That isn't anything against the game. It's just to say that these simulation types of games just don't personally have any attraction whatsoever to me or myself. Next title, so a flash sales. I'll go into these real quick, just because Legends of Grimrock, very good, old school, first-person dungeon crawler. I've covered this on RGT. Would recommend you check out the video because this is honestly one of those games you're either going to love or you're not. And I know I sometimes say that, but this is really that case. It is either one of those games you're absolutely going to love or you're not going to like it at all. And just because you're into RPGs doesn't mean you're going to like this. Check out the video, in my personal opinion. XCOM Enemy Unknown. It's worth noting that we're actually running a competition on RGT to give away this exact game. Nevertheless, it is 75% off, or $7.49. You can actually check out, once again, a video of this on RGT. Very good game, in my personal opinion. It is, of course, a strategy type of affair, and it's a rekindling of old school RTS type of titles. My personal opinion would tell ye that it is worth picking up. If you're interested in this, at the very least you can enter our competition. All you have to do is subscribe and so forth. You can find it, it's currently the trailer to the channel, if I remember correctly, so you can just go on the main page. And we're giving this until, when are we giving it? Competition ends on the 17th, so you've got several days yet still. Next title, Far Cry 3. This game does not require that much introduction, I feel. It was highly hyped up when it was being released, and honestly speaking, I really do love this title. It's currently 40% off, $11.99. That's actually a really good deal. You can actually get a deluxe edition as well for $15. In my personal opinion, the $15 is actually well worth picking up because there are a few extra goodies on it. And I personally think that the extra few pennies are worth it for that reason alone. This is one of those titles that, once again, I have covered it extensively in a Let's Plays and first impressions and everything else, so definitely check this one out. There's not really that much bad things to say about it. It does have the odd issue here and there, but honestly speaking, it is pretty damn awesome, and I personally would highly recommend the title. There's not really much more to say. I'm just going to quickly mention that for the next 7 hours or so forth, because you've got Far Cry going cheap, you can actually get Blood Dragon for $5.39. In my personal opinion, this is definitely worth picking up if you're interested in zany sci-fi types of games, extremely colourful. I have, you know what I'm going to say, covered this on a RedGamingTech.com video, so check it out if you're mildly or morbidly curious about the game. It is honestly one of those games you have to play to understand why, well, why the hell it's so odd to explain. I'm going to give you guys a brief synopsis of it, just based on the Steam text, because it gives you an idea of what the game's about. Welcome to an 80s vision of the future. The year is 2007, and you are Sergeant Rex Colt, a Mark IV cyber commando. Your mission: get the girl, kill the baddies, and save the world. So, if that's your type of game, go ahead. I personally have a few issues with the cheese level sometimes. and it can kind of grate on the nerves. Other than that, fantastic game, definitely pick it up. Next one, Bit Trip presents Runner 2, Future Legend of Rhythm. I can honestly tell you I have not that much information on this game. I haven't personally played it. It does score well Metacritic wise. It does score well in reviews, but I've not played it. I'm sorry, as I said, cannot play everything. It is basically impossible. I can tell you that it does look fairly good from what I've heard though. There be only one remaining. Once again, just like the Flash deals, the community choice has about 7 hours from when I am speaking right this second. Currently, it is Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm unsurprised it won, despite the fact I already own it, so I voted for something else, he says, not bitterly at all. This is one of those games, I don't think I need an introduction for it. It's Grand Theft Auto, for the love of God. You can pick up the complete edition. This comes with episodes of Liberty City as well. I would recommend picking that version up if you're going to get any of them. This game is absolutely awesome. As a slight aside, it absolutely rapes PCs when it was first released way back in 2008. It has a number of mods as well, which vastly, I cannot emphasize the word vastly enough, improve the graphical fidelity of the game. And if you have a decent PC, say something like a GTX 400 Series Plus GPU at the minimum, and say at least 1 gig of RAM, we're talking 1.5 really on the GPU alone, minimum, then you should go ahead and check out those because they make the game look that much more pretty. I'm not going to bother to talk about GTA 4, what it's about. It's a bit like me saying to you, well, here's what Mario's about. It's pointless at this point, so I'm sure everyone knows about it anyway. So rather than wax lyrically, I'll just say that it's a very good deal. Even if you're a console owner and you've just recently got into PC, check out this version because it makes the console versions look bad. I'm not just saying that, but it's honestly true. I've played the console versions and I've also played the PC versions. The PC versions just ruffle stomp the console versions in terms of loading times and graphics, especially when modded. Anyway, I think that's just about everything for this particular video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'm going to take a breather and I will see you soon. Take care and bye for now.